Welcome to the Excel Purpose Show with Counselor.
All right, today we have with us Daniel, the director of DMT Tennis. I'm very excited for this, so welcome, Daniel.
Hi, thank you. Welcome. So it's DTM.
Oh, did I say it wrong?
Yeah, it's DTM.
All right, I'll kick it off again. All right, it's right on your hat. All right, ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Take
Yeah,
two.
it's all good. All good.
Today we have with us Daniel, DTM Tennis. Oh, Daniel, I'm really excited about this. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Glad to connect with you via technology in different countries. It's pretty awesome.
I know. This is the first time we have actually met in this way. And yeah. It's actually the first time someone slid into my DM and I'm like, this person is really cool because you literally just wrote, hey, cool content. Do you play tennis? And I looked at your content and I thought the exact same. I'm like, this dude is cool. I love his content. Let's talk.
Thank you. Here we are. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, thanks to the power of technology, right? So it's pretty awesome, yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to know, kind of just from both from a business to business thing, and as well as like just the pursuit of passion. How did you come to running this tennis thing? Did you always play as a kid and then this turned into a business thing, or were you studying something else completely and then you went back into tennis? Tell me about your journey.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a pretty long journey. So I'll give you the short version.
Yeah.
Pretty short version. So I grew up playing tennis as a kid, went down the whole sort of taking it very seriously from a young age, got to a good level in the UK, played national tournaments, and went on to eventually begin playing pro, although that didn't last very long due to finances, injuries, and everything else in between. Yeah, then had to make that tough decision to quit, to finish playing and pursue that, pursue that career, and went back to study. But in my last 2 years of playing tennis, so I guess from the age of 16, I was pretty passionate about music. I'd always listened to music, and I decided to go back and study sound engineering, music technology. Yeah, so that was happening between the ages of 16 whilst I was still playing tennis, and I actually quit school at 16 to pursue tennis.
Whoa, okay. Was that something your parents allowed you to do?
Well, you can in the UK, you can finish school like at 16.
Oh, okay.
So we do our like final exams at 16, and then you can go to well, back in the day it was called
Are you guys accelerated, or what? Does everyone finish early? Because I don't.
No, like, well, it was just the way it was. Like we're talking like we're talking 20 years ago, right? So high school officially finished at 16, and then you have something called sixth form, which is maybe or college. So you can choose to do that or not. It's an option.
That's
so anyway.
Interesting. Okay.
So anyway, I decided I actually did enroll on a course, but it lasted, a month or something.
Was that sound engineering or something else?
No. Well, when I enrolled on something, it was actually like a higher math. Yeah. But I mean, because I was pretty good at math back in the day.
Yeah.
But it didn't last very long, and I was just like, right, if I'm gonna do this tennis thing, like I need to do it properly, and
tell me about the tennis. Did you have a love for tennis like since young, or were you pushed into that by your parents?
No. I lived and breathed tennis.
How did that come about? Did your school, was it like, there was heaps of tennis courts, that was the cool thing at the time, or how did you fall into that?
It was honestly like, it was a case of when I was like 5 years old, my parents bought what's called like a swing ball, which is basically a pole that you
Yeah.
stick in the ground.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It has a ball attached of a
Yeah.
string, and they were like,
You
he's
just whack
hitting.
it in the backyard type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's not missing. Like he's hitting it all the time. So
Yeah, right.
they enrolled me on a course, and it just went from there really. Like it was pretty
Oh,
organic.
oh, I love that. And
Yeah.
so you began, taking tennis seriously. And then what was the point when you sort of clicked into, I'm going to turn this into a business and really start helping kids? Because I noticed, one of your tagline is like, probably like the best tennis school for kids, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just something that I believe. It's a bit of a ultimately it's a bit of a blind comment. I can't say for sure whether it is or
Yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah.
right?
That's why the
Um,
probably.
but yeah, yeah. So yeah, I love kids. I'm passionate about kids. I am a big kid. Ultimately, I think we all are to a certain degree as adults. Um,
When we find the
and
thing we can be a kid at whilst we're an adult, that's when it's fun.
say that again.
When we're adults and we can find the thing to make a living whilst being like a big kid, that's the fun bit.
Right. Yeah, yeah, right. Um, yeah, so I just have a real passion for kids, and I just, I'm someone that really believes in giving back, and I want to, like you said, right, the pursuit, well, for me, it's the pursuit of purpose rather than the pursuit of happiness, and part of that
Tell
for
me the
me,
difference.
huh?
Tell me the difference.
Well, happiness is just a feeling, right? Happiness is a
Yeah.
feeling. Happiness comes and goes. But purpose is something that's way deeper. It's something that it's fulfilling, And when you take a step back and you look back at the end of your life, you can go, well, actually, I did something that made a difference. Whereas the pursuit of happiness is just something that comes and goes within the moment.
Yeah. Happiness is like much more fleeting. Yeah, in that moment. Yeah, I like that. That's just a feeling. What makes something really fulfilling for you? Do you feel like
It's
it's
when
like
it's
an everyday thing or it's like an end of the life looking back thing?
no, I mean, so the purpose. What? Say that again. The purpose.
The fulfill what brings fulfillment for you?
Yeah, it's making people's lives better. It's bringing
Mm,
joy to people's lives. It's
yeah.
changing people's lives. And the platform that has been given to me is tennis,
Mm, yeah.
right? And so therefore, if that's my platform, if that's what I'm good at, unfortunately, I really love and enjoy doing it as well. Then that's why I set up the company so I can change people's lives. I can bring joy. I can, bring happiness in a degree as well to kids, right? And it's super important, and introduce them to the wonderful game of tennis at the same time.
I love it. Because I really believe that too. I think that if we all find the thing that we find fulfilling whilst helping people and kick off that business, that's kind of like the ultimate dream. And I want everyone to be able to do that. Do you feel like everyone has that platform that they just haven't quite yet discovered, or do you feel like there are people that is kind of just meant to do the kind of like the typical job that they fall into?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if I'm wise enough to answer that question. Although, I do listen to a lot of podcasts, I do listen to a lot of things, and I think that, well, first of all, I'm very grateful that I found what I believe is
Yours.
my purpose.
Mm,
And so I take that seriously, and I take the business seriously, and I want it to succeed due to the fact that I'm grateful that I found my purpose, right? And
yeah.
I think a lot of people haven't.
Mm,
And to answer your question, I don't think that your career has to be the thing that's your purpose. Like ultimately, at the end of the day, we all need money to change people's lives to a certain degree, or to change a lot of people's lives. We don't need money to change the community and the people around us face to face. But if we want to change a lot of people's lives, then money is very important. And so I think that a career that's not your purpose has a purpose in the fact that it gives you financial options to do something outside of your career, right? Your 9 to 5 or whatever it is. At 5 p.m. you can go to the community hall and do arts and crafts, you know, if that's your passion. And you can, if you want to build a career outside of what you're doing at the moment, but you need finances to do that, right? So I think that
Yeah.
I don't think your full-time job has to be your passion. No, I don't. No.
Yeah. Yeah. They can always start that thing on the side whilst they discovering that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me how, you know, when we have this idea, or when you have your idea about, okay, I want to start like the tennis school, and then actually starting it, how long did it take you to get to this point? Like, when did you, how many years has it been so far? And what are the skills that you realized you needed to like stack on, you know, other than the tennis skills, right? Like, what did you have to stack on as a business owner?
Running a business, I think.
Yeah. What's the kind of the
You know,
hard
so
part?
doing the admin,
Yeah.
making sure like the behind the scenes, the back end of the company is running smoothly, because if it doesn't, it just causes you stress upon stress, right? And then you never get anything done on the front end. And part of that for me was balancing the amount of hours I was working, like let's say on the field, right, or in the field, because if I'm doing 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, then I can't do anything on the back end. And I actually got to a point where I was doing so much work coaching that my company wasn't building or expanding, right? So it was actually
Yeah. When
it was
you say back end, what does that sort of entail? Because I
well,
think
like
front end, for people listening, they'll be like, oh yeah, they can picture it. Front end is like guy coaching on court, right?
yeah.
We're thinking back end, what is that?
Well, I mean, communication, administration, branding, marketing, everything that you need to run a company. Hiring, delegating certain things to certain people, making sure that your coaches are doing a good service. The list is endless. You know, goal setting,
I find that
planning.
too.
It's honestly, it like running a company is not I mean, everyone has said it, but it is not easy. It really
Yeah.
is not easy. It goes far beyond a regular 9 to 5. It's a lifestyle.
Yes, I agree. Um, when you're like marketing so that people start to know your business, just like, you know, IG, that's how we met each other.
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah,
like, if it wasn't for that, we would never connect. It's like, it's only because there's like something we can see.
yeah.
And you're doing an amazing job. And when you're like getting that branding and that stuff out, did a lot of that come from you, or did you like, are you doing that on your own, or did you hire, you know, a designer or social media manager and that to help out? Where's that? What stage are you at with that?
The simple answer is I do it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more complex answer is I am an extremely creative person. That's one of the
Awesome.
things that I think helps with the kids tennis program is I just create things and, you know, test things and try things. Like I said, I feel like, you know, I am a big kid in some respects. But no, I had to study Photoshop. I learned everything, you know, and
Yeah, that's why I started too, Photoshop.
I did the whole course, and I sit
You
there
too.
instead of watching TV at night, I'll just play around on the video editing apps and figure stuff out, you know. And the more
I don't want
complex side
people
of
to
it,
miss this. This is a really important point. See, this is the kind of thing we have to give up. So, because it can just get glossed over, right? But you're
yeah,
saying, no, it's like when people are watching TV, like people are enjoying Netflix and watching some show, watching some movie. But it's like, no, you were there learning about Photoshop. That's the difference.
yeah. I mean, just fortunately for me, it's something that I really enjoy doing, you know. I could sit there for hours. Other people, it's a bit of a chore, a bit laborious. But for me, again, fortunately, it's part of my personality, the creativity. So I'm, you know, quite happy to sit there and play around, you know. and do that. But yeah, no, yeah, I do it all. You know, at some point, I need to hand it over and pass it on. But right
Yeah.
now, I do it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I wear those different hats as well. But that's part of the fun, right? Like it's like we got to be the ones that create first. Then we know what to hand off to others to still have that same look and feel. We're kind of like cloning ourselves
Yeah.
afterwards, but we
Yeah.
can't expect. I think one of the challenges is new business owners that aren't really wanting to take on these new skill sets. Like you said, they could be like a chore for them, right? But without learning some of it initially themselves and
Yeah.
passing it on, that other person has no idea what you want.
Yeah.
So when it comes back, it's like, well, that's not what I want. But there's no conversation, right? It's like, well, what do you want? This will be like, well, I have
Yeah.
no
I
idea.
mean, look,
They
I
don't know
think,
the color, they don't know the font, they don't really know
yeah.
what. So
I
yeah,
think as a business owner and as someone who wants to run a successful business, I think you have to understand at least some of the basics in every department, right? So
yeah,
for me, it's like if I now want to go and hand that stuff over to a graphic designer, I need to know the basics of Photoshop so I can say, hey, you need to change this or that can be done like this. So you need to have some sort of fundamental understanding of, let's say, terminology in every department. Like
yes.
if I want to talk to you about business and you're talking about something that I don't understand because of a terminology issue, that's on me, right? I need to understand the basics to be able to communicate clearly with someone.
Yeah, and there's also an appreciation of the time and how much it's worth as well
Oh
once you know.
yeah, oh
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah. Tell me about this, how you got so disciplined, because you sound like a very disciplined person, in terms of like learning and getting to where you are. Do you have like a specific morning routine or how's your days kind of structured like?
So I wasn't always disciplined, and it's always a work in progress. I am by nature I'm quite sort of spontaneous. So actually, routines don't come easy to me. However, well, going back, yeah, I do have a morning routine. Yeah, I wake up, I get a coffee, and I do my daily gratitudes, right? So I'll just do 5 to 10 gratitude things, and then I'll write a little bit in my journal, and then maybe I'll do a bit of reading. Depends how awake I am at 7 a.m. But
Do you wake up regularly at 7:30?
I wake up earlier than 7 a.m. because I
Oh,
have to
wow.
book. I'm forced to actually,
Yeah.
which is actually not a bad thing because it wakes
Mm.
me up because I have to book my tennis courts, right? And that happens at 7 a.m.
Ah, okay, yes.
So it stops me going
Good.
out. It makes me get to bed early, etc. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, right? But it does help. And so yeah, getting a morning routine has really helped me. And when I do miss it, because I'm a human and that does happen, um, I don't feel good for it. Like I'm sloppy and I don't get my things
Mm,
done,
yes.
and that's just, but I understand that, and that's part of me growing as a person, that I accept that I am just a person, and I'm not a machine, and these things do happen.
I love that so much more than you probably know. It's like there's a lot of aspect there to like. So the way you answer that is like, one, there is a kindness to yourself. That's like, okay, I'm a human. I'm not at peak state all the time. I do miss it. So it's not this, oh, I'm trying to portray that I'm perfect every single day. It's like, but then there's like the standard that you set for yourself. It's like, oh, but if I do miss it, I feel a bit sloppy about that. You don't like that. So it's like you will bring yourself back up to, the point that you're happy with. I really like that. Um, Tell me about the program that you run. And why Hong Kong? Because that also was intriguing for me because I'm from Hong Kong. What brought you to Hong Kong?
Life. I didn't choose Hong Kong. I'm not going to say Hong Kong chose me. No, honestly, it was a moment in my life where I had decided to leave the UK. I'd gotten a job in San Diego in the States, and I'd flown out to New York to spend the summer there, waiting for my visa to come through. The visa fell through, and I was not going back home. I'd made that sort of decision in my life, right? Whereas I was moving from the UK, and I had a good friend here, and he was like, "Hey, I can get you a job here," and this was 9 years ago, right? And so I was just like, "All right, let's do it." So just got on a plane. I flew home to get a few more bits, and then to Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's cool. Just taking the opportunity as it's shown. That's
Yeah, I
not an
mean,
easy thing to do. I love it. Like you've got this really casual demeanor. And it's like you said it so casually, but it's like, no, that is exactly why you're successful in this type of stuff, because you would take those opportunity. Whereas it could take someone's like, holy shit, I need to like move countries. I need to like do this. Like I'm moving my entire life for this unknown thing. Like that's probably more the normal reaction. But the way you said it was just like, yeah, so the friend gave me this opportunity. Yeah, just grab a few things and
I think fortunately it's not so much these days, to be honest, but fortunately that was part, like I said, like I told you a little bit earlier, like I do have this spontaneity in my
yes,
personality.
yeah,
Um,
I like that.
so at that point in my life,
Yeah.
it was cool, you know. I was just like, all right, let's do it. You know, one situation fell through, another one popped up, and I was just at that time in my life where I was like, let's go for it. You know, like yeah, there was no clear path set in front of me because the other job had fallen through. So
Yeah, that's
mhm.
cool. I like how like
And I
life just
love
sort of works
Hong.
out that way.
Yeah, and you know, I've been here a long time. I've actually fallen in love with Hong Kong. I call it my home, but I won't let my parents hear that. Yeah, I think this place is wonderful. It has a lots of treasures to it, and yeah, it has a lot of things going for it. Mm.
That's awesome. Tell me about the tennis program that you run for any listeners that's actually in Hong Kong
Yeah, right.
able
Yeah,
to
no.
is able to join. What does that look like? Do you do it for kids and adults as well, or can people casually come in? How does that work? What's
Yeah,
available?
so look, we're ultimately we're a service provider, right? I have my personal passions and I have my direction for the company, but ultimately we are a service provider. We provide tennis for 5 year, well, down to 3 years olds actually, all the way up
Oh,
to
really?
all the way up to however old you are. So
Yeah.
we are a service provider. We provide private classes, group classes. We tend to do a few master classes, which are quite sort of specific on one set topic. So we try to cover all aspects of tennis coaching. Um, I'm quite big on community, so I'm starting to do some more charitable events, community events. Like on my Instagram today, it's like celebrating National Women's Day on Friday. So I'm running an almost free event for that.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
saw the pink splash come up. Yeah.
yeah, good old pink, right?
Yes.
So, so to answer your question, look, we're a service provider. I actually come from a high performance background. So I work with a lot of the high performance kids, the kids that are playing tournaments regularly. It's where I feel I excel personally. Doesn't mean that I'm better or worse than a coach that's teaching, social tennis or beginner tennis. Not at all. Completely different skill sets. I actually
But
prefer
you coach
to
all the way from like beginners to like high performance.
Yeah, yeah. As a service provider, our company does. I tend to prioritize the high performance stuff because it requires a lot more
You
than
take
just
those ones on when there's like other team members that run some of the other things.
correct. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tell me
I mean,
about the like I'm just trying to paint the picture because obviously I haven't been there yet or participated. Yeah, though I would love to sometime when I'm in Hong Kong and that's like possible. So how many courts are we talking about? Like what's the group sizes if people are coming into like a group thing or a master class thing? What can they expect? Is it like a 10 weeks program or do they come in casually or can you tell me a little bit more?
so we work based on public courts. So we run our programs
Okay,
on
public
public
courts.
courts.
Yeah.
We don't have a venue. There's a lot of companies like that do a similar thing.
Yeah.
Um, it's part of the nature of Hong Kong that, you've got either sort of private members clubs and they have their own coaches, or you've got public courts, right? You don't
Yeah.
really have
That makes sense.
tennis.
Like, yeah. Well,
You don't
especially Hong Kong, the land is so expensive. There's
Yeah.
no like, if you own those lands, they'll probably turn into buildings.
Right. Yeah. So I run on public courts.
Yeah.
So that's why I have to wake up every morning and do the
Yeah,
bookings,
to
right?
book
So
it. Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when it comes to group size and stuff, like it depends on the level. So if they're a beginner class, they might be a little bit larger because it's not so high energy. It's a little bit more discussions, a little bit more education, talking, going through technique and stuff. But when it comes to the high performance, the groups are smaller because it needs to be a little bit more high intensity, engaging, that sort of thing. So yeah, it kind of varies, to be honest.
Okay, cool. All right. So is it, sorry, so do the programs run for a long time? When someone signs up, if
Yeah.
someone's interested, how does it work? Do they just kind of show up to where you are, or do they have to sign up prior? Or do they put themselves in a waiting list for the next batch? What is that like?
So yeah, I mean, sign-ups are all done either via, WhatsApp, Instagram, the website, right, and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And we tend to run like the kiddies and the school programs based on the school term. So you'll sign up for
Yes, of course, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So you'll sign up for a half term or a full term, etc.
Yeah.
And then adults, we run like weekly drop-ins where you don't have to sign up for anything, but then we also
They tend to be
run
after work hours, or?
Yeah, exactly. Tends to be after 7 p.m., like 7 to 10 or something like
Okay.
that. And then we've just got a sold out beginners course, which has 6 players on it. And that's like at 8 p.m. on every Thursday, and that runs for 6 weeks.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's awesome to know. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a whole schedule, so they know week 1 it's forehands, backhands, week 2 it's volleys, maybe movement, week 3 grips and smash, serve, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's an outline for these to sort of get a better picture before they sign up what they're signing up to.
Yeah, cool. Now, the reason I'm asking you like kind of like a little bit more detail is because recently I've been posting a few things, and some of them are like tennis clips, and there's been a lot of interest on it. So just in case someone is seeing it and wanted to know a bit more, yeah, then they'll know where to look for you. So just if the audience want to find out or join, is the best place DTM.com, Daniel?
Yeah, www.dtmtennis.com. Yeah.
DTMtennis.com. Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
I will make sure I'll put the link in as part of the podcast.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you so much. And if you're,
is there any last message you wanted to leave for the kids or for tennis or for purpose?
No, not really. I'm not here to sell myself in that respect. Just have a nice conversation and get to know you. And if you're ever in Hong Kong, then let me know. We can have a game of tennis.
Yes, sounds good. I look forward to it.
Excel in life, live your purpose, be free.